right, testing. Since that flipped right there, I think I'm actually streaming. Oh, looks like I am. It's just delayed a little bit. All right. I know my audio sucks. I just found out checking some of my Twitch stuff that it does not look worth a crap. Really need second monitors, better webcam. I actually think my webcam's on right now. At least it's got the green light saying it is. Oh, nope, it's not. It's just green lighted. Okay. I know I've got a billion projects going on. Now I got something new. This is going to be after some market research in SCP. It's actually going to be Here Be Dragons. Just a little scene. Nothing special. But let's go and look at smoke that I've done so far. First off, I got this offline. Mostly just an alpha map of 8x8 particles that allow it to do an alpha erosion over time. Come into the material. That is set up to a translucent unlit material. We put the particle color down here in the subtract. We subtract the RGBA alpha and we make it a particle sub UV. Did our little if in here, got our amount, and color 1 and 2. Both are set to black right now. I'll probably, since I made them parameters, do some playing around so that we can get some different colored smoke. Get some whites in there or something so it doesn't just look like plain black billowing smoke. All right, I actually need to come into the particle. Here's the particle. It's set to a GPU sprite. Required, there it is. And down here, we got the linear blend. It's actually going to be 8x8 because I changed which UV thing I used because there's 8 images by 8 images. And then I believe it's under the UV image index. Yes, because since it's 8x8, there's now 64 of them. Since 0 is one of them, we'll set 63 right here. Not a huge deal, lifetime. Just set them up to 10 seconds, spawn. Made it spawn 200 of them. Initial velocity, I just gave it a little bit of outward. Made it go up pretty quick because it is smoke. Gave it a small sphere of 10 so that it actually spawns in a little circle instead of just one little spot, and gave it a little initial rotation that I didn't even alter just so that it would actually kind of rotate out. My box, nothing super special, but I do need to change colors. It is just a skeleton mesh because I was doing animations, but right now my animation is God knows what. That's my animation blueprint. But my actual animation is, oh hey, the box is there. Went okay. See, that's the problem I'm having with that box right now, is where does it go for that stuff. The lids should flip open and everything, but we're having some issues there. I probably should have made something like a blend space and actually made it blend over based on a value between one state and the other. I don't know, play with it. This feels too silver because it's supposed to be, in my mind, more of a matte silver. We might go ahead and upgrade these to parameters. And I'll just keep them super simple and metallic. Oh God, anybody that gets tired of watching me struggle, my website now has a donate button. And of course it has an Amazon wish list. But Doggo's making the rounds right now. He's got to check all the bathroom and stuff. Had an ex-girlfriend that's basically his mom, and he has never stopped checking the bathroom since. Not that she really just got stuck in there, but little OCD, so sometimes too long washing her hands, sometimes just go in there and start cleaning it, even though she just recently cleaned it. I make fun of her a little bit, but it's actually a pretty rough condition. I've literally had times when she left my house and I never touched stuff, and she would come back and just, think it's so filthy and have horrible anxiety until she cleaned it. And it's yeah, it's rough. It's definitely a contributing factor to the relationship's issues right now. Um, I don't even know how to define them, to be honest. Oh man, we're broken up. I'm single ladies, but you don't just stop caring about anybody or anything like that. I guess that's the best way to put it. Okay, we'll get that material instance in there this time. So that now I can actually look at this out there and play with those parameters we set up. Or I just set up. Okay, so see, there it is. A little too shiny for me. So let's go ahead and scale down the shininess. That looks more right. And then I'm going to make it a little rougher, I think. So it doesn't have quite the same level of reflection on it. There we go. That feels more like somebody just hit it with some nasty old spray paint, like primer that's slightly silver. We might go back up on the metal here. Sorry, I had to close the door for the dog that went outside and is now going to beg to go for a walk because he heard another dog in the neighborhood. All right, let's take this up to something like a 0.8, make it a little shinier. No, 0.9. Might actually have to just go all the way back full metallic on this one. Oops. There we go. I'm still not really happy with that, but I think that'll do. No reason to set up a physics material on this. You see, I got the black smoke inside the blueprint right now. It's nothing key to it. It's just literally set in there. Been making some origami dragons in Blender. Let's see how well they import. I'm sure that's going to be interesting. Oh, obviously I start streaming. Dog wants to walk. Okay, SCP dragons. Let's go ahead and pull those up. Dragons. I made one and managed to either save it somewhere it shouldn't have been or I lost it. I'm not really sure. But it is what it is. All right. We got 3 of them in here right now. I really should have asked for a replacement on that, but I'm going to give these guys a parameter for their color so that I can actually set their material instance. I'm going to make them particles, static meshes, all that kind of stuff. Sorry, I'm having to reach over and actually pet the dog occasionally to let him know that he can't just whine constantly. I don't really have a way to... I have a feeling y'all can hear him. All right, save all because I do tend to have an editor that crashes a lot. Pushing this out on a Mac. That's just a little laptop, especially with the recording software and everything. Okay, let's. Well, I can stay live or I can stop and come back. I'm gonna have to just give him a treat. Hang on. I'll walk him here after like a 10 or 15 minutes of this and then come back and do some more. This little jerk, he learned he always gets a treat after a good walk, so he started making me go out for a walk, and then he would end up actually I should be able to do a particle color in here. And then we'll set it randomly as it spawns them. Can I set random color? I think I can. We'll figure it out. It's been a while since I've done a static mesh particle. I know I can do color over light, but I actually want to do initial color and set that to a nice random. We'll see. Probably get me some textures in here and stuff eventually. That way they can look like Kame paper. Alright, new particle system. Let's say P underscore dragons. Not going to worry about the SCP, what is it, 1763-1? Alright, type data. It's going to be a mesh data. So now it's going to be popping up little meshes. So the mesh data thing, and we hit dragon. We'll just start with one of the basic dragons. They should be popping out. I think it's popping out a whole bunch of them. Alright. And LOD size scale, use static mesh LOD, space camera with roll. I actually don't want them to have any facing. That'll be fine, I guess. Alright. Camera facing axis no up. We'll play with them. I can't remember what all of those do, but really I want them to be able to just fly around, just like the SCPs. Doggo's being a jerk, telling me he needs to go outside, and then he'll run to the front door when I get there. I love him to death. He's a Rhodesian Ridgeback. Obviously, not as much as many of them, but definitely enough. Alright, so I just set it to that dragon color and everything. We'll go, let's see, we don't want a color overlap. What we want is a initial color. Start color. And we've got a constant, vector constant here. Let's do particle parameter. Minimum input, maximum input, white, parameter modes. That should give me, excuse me, some random colors there between black and white. But I don't think I actually want whites over here. I think, or black. We want some actual, like, colors, I think. Minimum input, maximum input. Let's actually make all these black, and minimum output white. So it should be somewhere in between there. It doesn't look like I actually get the right colors I want there. Don't want the uniform constant curve. No, I don't want a curve. I just want it to be a between somewhere not quite black, because I really don't want black ones. White ones aren't so bad, but just put it somewhere in there. Yeah, there we go. You can see it's giving me the colors now. It's going to spawn all sorts of different colors of them along the way. All right, for now, we're actually going to hit this, and we're only going to spawn, we'll say, nope, we're going to actually give this a uniform curve. Or no, it's going to be a float constant curve. There we go. Minimum. It'll spawn a minimum of 1, and we're going to bump this up to something like 40. So it'll be kind of all over the place. You know, because for each one I'm going to do one, so let's say 10. Lifetime. Minimum. They're actually. Let's give them a decent lifetime. And we'll cut down the number that they spawn quite a bit. We don't need 500 of them on the screen at the same time. As fun as it would be. Initial size. Maximum size is. Should be in centimeters, so we'll say 30, 30, 30. And then we're going to drop them down to like 333. Initial velocity. I don't quite need that much up. I think I'm going to actually. Well, we want to orbit. And it looks like my meshes might be a little big. We might have to go and change their actual scale inside there. Because I didn't really set scale inside Blender or anything. All right, offset amount. All right, let's go deal with that. I'm also going to go ahead and drop this emitter onto the ground out here, just so I can see. Whoop. Oh man. So my dog isn't usually a barker, but he's kind of learned how to do it recently, and he lets out one bark, and then he usually scares himself as a result. And we have issues. Okay, so as you can probably guess, that is a little bit big of a mesh data we got right there. So we're going to have to come in here and definitely scale these guys down, probably at like 100th of their size. It looks like they're probably set to meters instead of centimeters. So that was just dragons. Come in here. Settings, mesh, blah, blah, blah. I know it's in here somewhere. Transform. What I want one where I can actually change import uniform scale. 0.01. All right, let's see how that looks out here now. For some reason, my stuff doesn't like to just update on this. Back when I was on my Windows PC, I'm gonna have to probably re-import this. Mac update's a little different than it used to. Used to, I could just do stuff like that and it'd be all fine. All right, popping out all sorts of little dragons here now. Bloop, 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 bloop. All right. We're gonna update their orbits there quite a bit. Try to get them out spinning around. Probably initial velocity, probably going to cut that down quite a bit. Probably more like the 50 of the other one. And this probably down to more like 10. Orbit. All right. Minimum max, we'll probably bump this up to like 30. Let's go ahead and do the 50. And 50. All right. That's the offset options. All right. Speed these guys up a little bit. We're going to go into rotation, and we'll do initial initial rotation. Hit save, and we should end up with some SCP dragons that are out flying around. They are still wicked fast. We're going to have to slow that down and obviously spawn less of them since I'm going to include a whole bunch of the stuff. But as you see, random colors, all that stuff is already in there. I do think including some textures on there is going to be important. Some of the angles they spawn at are pretty ugly. But we've got a decent little start going there. Kind of playing with this because there's a small chance I might want to make an SCP game. You know, it's popular, it's great. That should be fine. Get back in here in orbit, and we're going to knock these out to like 200. This initial rotation is actually messing stuff up. Initial velocity, we're going to crank up the upward a little bit just to make sure they cleared the box and everything. Let's do these on 15. I don't want to do too much, otherwise I'll have them shooting out of the sides of the box. Won't look pretty. But just thinking about doing an SCP mobile game, action adventure third person kind of thing. Can't decide if it would be a completely non-canon story of like original SCP captures with your character there, or if it might be something along the lines of an SCP that makes non-hostile SCPs hostile. Probably still all non-canon, but you get enough creative license options there and stuff that shouldn't be a huge issue. Let's drop that spawn number way down. Let's actually knock it down to 0 so that it doesn't always spawn the ones you need or ones you don't want. And we'll knock this down to like 2. 5 time. We'll knock this to like 2 and knock this up to 15. That way you get a whole kind of variety of how long they're out there. Using a particle emitter, can't just have them fly back in there. There's probably some creative stuff you do to really make it kind of work, but and if I wasn't playing with the idea of targeting a mobile platform where this might end up being something used, I would actually probably spawn each and every thing as a actual mesh that was individually spawned and sent off to do its thing. Okay. Part of the problem on the scale stuff right now is it's spawning some with like shortened heights and stuff like that. It makes them look longer and everything. Some of those are super fast, which I don't like, but some of these little SCP dragons are at like Mach 2 or something like that. If you go read it, I'm like, God, dude, like, it's actually like 50 miles an hour. I hope they're really made out of some good Kame paper. Let's see. I could definitely do a mask with the second color. That way they have like swirls and stuff on them. I think that would be a great way to actually do that. Mask in one color and then mask in the other. How long have I even been streaming? A whole... That was 24 minutes? There's no way that was 24 minutes. Okay, so You saw me set that up. The dog desperately wants a walk. I am going to stop for now. I'll take care of that walk. I'll go. Oh God, he's acting like he's dead by the front door. All right, so yeah, I'll go take care of that, and then I'll come back after I